Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Want to see how I created this serial killer tumbler? Stay tuned and let's get to it. Hey guys, and happy Sunday. Alright, I'm going to start this tumbler with some ultra matte white from Rustoleum. I'm using a 20-ounce skinny from Stainless Steel Depot. They're probably my favorite size to use. Also, this is my first video, so bear with me with this voiceover. I'm still learning. So I went ahead and I sprayed this. I got pretty good coverage. It was late whenever I did this, so I wasn't really able to see everything. However, I'm not real concerned about the amount of coverage because I am going to be covering it with that really awesome water slide. Again, here I'm just showing you I'm not really concerned about any imperfections because it'll be covered by the water slide. I was struggling with the full water slide to cover the entire cup at one time, so I cut it in half. I'm applying these face down, kind of like a tattoo. It's a little tip that I picked up from Courtney's Customs. I'll link her below so that you can check out some of her stuff. She's got some really awesome tumblers. And I do realize that some of this video is going to be out of frame, and again, I apologize. I am still learning. So here I'm just smoothing out the water slide, getting out all of those bubbles and any extra water that I have underneath. You can use a squeegee tool if you want. I just use my fingers and a paper towel, and that seems to work for me just fine. There's the other half of my water slide there, and I was actually able to match these up pretty well. So again, I did go ahead and seal this 3 times with Rustoleum 2 times clear coat, and I am using koala paper. I will link both of those down below. I'll link all the materials down below, so if you guys want to grab some of those. I did find the koala paper on Amazon, and my big head got in the way, so I do apologize that you guys cannot see me lining this up. Here I'm just checking to make sure that it's all on there. Whoopsies, we had a little slip. No big deal. I'm going to cover that up with something here a little bit later, so I'm not real concerned with it. You just kind of have to play with these. If you're not real sure how to use water slides, I'd be happy to make a video to show you how I do water slides. How I do them may not always be the right way or the best way. It's just the way that I do it and what works for me. Everyone has their own techniques and ways of doing things. Again, I'm just going to go in here and get out any of that extra water and bubbles that are underneath that water slide. You don't want to epoxy over those because they will show, and nobody wants that. Now, you'll see here that this is like a bunch of newspaper clippings put together, or that's what it's supposed to look like, of some famous serial killers. Should I say they're famous? That would be a thing to be famous for, right? Just smoothing it out. You can't even tell where I had to match them up once the cup is done. And this is my first serial killer mug, or tumbler mug. Sorry, guys. Bear with me, sorry. So just smoothing that all out, going around the cup, making sure everything is great. In a minute, you'll see me take a paper towel here, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to speed through this part. All right, now that that's done, I went ahead and I mixed up 12 milliliters of CCDIY's FastSet Epoxy. This is going to allow me to move to the next step a lot faster. It was late though, so I recorded the rest of this the following day. I don't really baby my epoxy. I just get in there and I mix it pretty aggressively. The thing with the FastSet is once you mix it, you've got to get going. You cannot just wait. it'll get too hot where you can't even handle it anymore. You could burn your skin. Of course, you always want to wear gloves whenever you're doing this and wear the proper PPE. So you've got to work pretty fast. I like to drizzle my epoxy all over the cup and then spread it out. Some people like to scoop it and put it on, which is totally fine. Again, everyone does what works for them. This is what works for me. I did let that water slide dry for about 30-ish minutes. Once it felt dry and there wasn't any more movement and I couldn't see any more water or anything coming out from underneath it, I kind of just let it sit for a little bit, and then I went in with this coat of epoxy and just smoothed it on out. Okay, so far we're looking pretty good. That first coat is on. Actually ended up going to sleep after this. This is the next day. I decided I wanted to add a little something to it, so I went into Cricut Design Space and I just typed in blood drip. And this is what it gave me. I cut it out on some stencil vinyl, which I'll link down below for you guys if y'all want to check it out. It's really easy to use. But because I was going too fast and not paying attention, I put it on there kind of wonky, which it ended up working out fine. But really take your time whenever you're putting this on there so that you get it laid down nice and flat so you don't have any paint bleed underneath it or anything like that. I could have done drips with epoxy and just kind of let it thicken up and added red paint to it. However, I didn't want to mess with that. I didn't want to babysit the cup today. So I just cut out a stencil and put it on there. Kind of finagled it a little bit. You just got to kind of play with them for a minute, get them where you want them. And I matched them up the best that I could, because when I first applied, I didn't apply it the right way. So don't be like me, apply it the right way first. But it all ended up working out in the end. So sometimes mistakes can be, happy mistakes. All right, so here I am. I'm taking my X-Acto knife, and I decided that I was going to cut that top rim off and just go ahead and fill those drip stencils with paint. After I did this, I went ahead and I smoothed that back out as best I could with my fingers. And then I went outside and I used Cranberry by Rustoleum and I filled in those blood drips. I also sprayed my bottom. Now, after I sprayed this, I thought, oh man, that looks kind of like pinkish purplish. However, it ended up matching pretty well with the blood splatter handprints that were already on the cup. Ignore all my mess. Alright, so here I just pulled off that stencil after that paint dried. I waited for about 15 minutes, let that paint dry, and then I pulled off that. I realize I'm out of frame here, guys. I do apologize. I'm just pulling off the stencil. It's just like pulling off a sticker. And there are my blood drips. I feel like it added just a little bit of something to the cup. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to attach that again, and I'm going to coat again with another 12 milliliters of CCDIY's FastSet epoxy to get me to the next step. So I did this coat, and then I did a regular coat of Alumilites. amazing Clearcast for a final coat. You don't want to use FastSet for a final coat. It doesn't have the UV protection in it, and it will yellow really fast. So I went ahead and I epoxied this 2 more coats. And it was looking pretty good, if I do say so myself. All right, once those last final coats are dry, I took a sharp craft knife and I cleaned up that edge, that top rim. And again, I'm out of frame. Please don't come for me. I'm still learning. Let's be friends still, okay? Okay. Be very careful whenever you guys are using these craft knives. Don't go too crazy because you could slip off the rim and scratch the cup. And if you scratch the cup, you got to sand and add another coat again. And then that's just a whole mess. And if you slip, you could also cut yourself. So please don't do that. We want fake blood on this cup, not real blood. So I just cleaned up that rim. And I also took a little bit of acetone and cleaned out the inside of the cup. Gave it a good wash with some Dawn dish soap and warm water, dried it, and it was ready to go. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was day 1 of your 10 days of Halloween. Please stay tuned for our true crime blood splatter t-shirts. Thanks for watching, and be sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, tap that bell so that you're notified every time I add a new video. Thanks, and have a great week.